Fitness here. Just thought I'd make this quick video today about diet and kind of things to do with that, mainly about carbs. So a common question, something that I was wondering quite a while ago was, why do you have to prioritize carbs when you're bulking? The simple answer is because you don't want to use protein as your energy source. Carbs, which most of you training would probably have gathered that is the source of energy, whether you're cutting, whether you're bulking, it's what your body uses as energy. Primarily, it's the first source of energy that your body goes to. That's why you need it in your body all the time, and you don't want to be in a situation where you haven't got the carbs, so your body has to resort to using protein or fat. Obviously, using fat as energy is better, but commonly the body goes straight to the protein first rather than the fat, unless in some cases when you're drinking caffeine. This is also another kind of random tip that just popped in my head just then. If you have caffeine when you're fasting and you haven't eaten anything, and then you work out or you're just walking about, the body will use the fat. The caffeine will help you use the fat as energy source, and it will actually burn the fat off your body. So if you're cutting and you maybe want to get a morning workout in, if you get a can of Monster, maybe a coffee, something like that, but you don't have any food in your belly, your body will actually use the fat that you want to get rid of as an energy source, and it will burn some of that fat away. So that's a handy tip there. But yeah, with the carbs, because that's the main part of this video, make sure that when you're bulking, you're keeping your carbs high and you're in as much of a surplus as you can be in. Obviously, depending on what your goal is, on how lean you want to stay when you're bulking. For example, right now, I'm trying to gain as much muscle as I can, but I'm trying to keep my carbs kind of at the point that I want them to be at, because I don't want to eat too much excess of those carbs and end up gaining a lot of fat on my body. For some people, they might not be bothered about that, but I want to be able to like grow my abs and develop my abs while I'm bulking and notice if there's any differences with them. Whereas if I have fat, that kind of restricts me and I won't be able to see any ab gains if I make any. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. My carbs at the moment are 450 grams, and 120 of that is sugar. So I'm keeping my complex carbs and my sugars within the boundaries, making sure that I'm not going over. I'm not being really tight about it. I'm not going, not saying to myself that I need to keep it dead on that gram, but like within 10 or 20 grams past that point, that's what I'm allowing myself to go over. So yeah, when you're bulking, make sure that you've got carbs in your diet and you in that surplus if you're trying to gain as much muscle mass as you can, because you don't want to lose your gains, because that's what you're primarily bulking for, to make more, not to lose them, because you're using protein as the energy source. And then by the end of the day, even though you've eaten your goal for protein but you haven't eaten your goal for carbs, you might think that's fine, I'm still going to recover my muscles because of protein, but some grams of that protein would have been taken away as energy. So you might have 180 grams of protein, but 40 of that gets taken away as an energy source because you are however many carbs low on your macros. This is why some people, when they're cutting down and they're trying to shed their body fat off, they actually raise their protein macros a little bit higher so that they're not using any of those proteins as energy, because obviously your carbs are going to be lower trying to lose fat, so keeping your protein a little bit higher than you would if you're on a surplus is going to help you maintain your muscle mass. It kind of compensates for the carb loss, so the carbs are going down and the protein's going a little bit up, so that you're not jeopardising any of this protein that you've been eating throughout the day. When I say that, I don't mean that if you don't hit the exact carbs that you need in order to bulk, that you're going to lose all of the protein that you consume that day, or you're going to lose 20 grams, 40 for instance, what I just said. Because even if you don't hit your your carb surplus, you can always, there's usually like 40 or 50 grams of carbs between the surplus and your calorie maintenance. So some days, because not everyone can hit their exact macros every day, if we could have that consistency, that's perfect. That's what we're striving for. That's the goal when it comes to diet. But if you have a busy day or you don't have much food in the house and you can't get the macros that you need, or you can't get the carbs that you need, but you get the protein that you need, don't stress it too much, because as long as you have kind of your maintenance so that you don't lose any or gain any, and just kind of maintaining the body weight that you got, you should be okay. You won't lose any muscle, you might even gain a little bit. So don't stress about it too much, guys. Even if you go into a deficit for a couple of days, it's not the end of the world. Just like if you bulk really well for one day, you're not going to gain like 2 pounds of muscle in one day. It's the same kind of principle where if you don't hit your macros for 1 or 2 days, you're not going to lose everything that you've built up over, last 6 weeks, something like that. So just saying, don't stress about it too much. It's not that big of a deal. Just try and hit those macros. So stay on point with your macros, count your carbs accurately, count your proteins accurately. Make sure that you're not using any of that protein as an energy source if you're trying to gain muscle, and have fun in the gym. Make some gains. Cheers, guys.